What is good, everyone, and welcome to the episode 3 of the Stay Attached podcast. Once again, thank you very much for all the support on episodes 1 and 2 with Dashy and Arcides. But now, today, we are joined by a very special guest, the one and only, the MVP, the Italian stallion, Tommy ZooMaa. Tommy, welcome to the show. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good, man. That was a good intro. That's good gas.
Thank you. I've been working on my promos a little bit. I gotta make sure I'm gassing my guests up, hoping they're feeling good. Excited to be here. But
Right
with
on.
with you, I mean, we have so much history. I was thinking about it. We've teamed since back in AW. We've teamed every COD since AW, so that's 6 Call of Duty games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We were talking about it too when obviously the whole team changing stuff went
Yeah.
down. Just we basically grew up in the scene together.
Yeah,
Like if you
literally.
think about it, like I feel like when I first started teaming with you, I was a kid. You
Oh,
know?
we were. And like Ghost, because even in Ghost, like before we were teaming, we were still hanging out at events and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's just crazy to see how far. I feel like it's all happened so quick too. Like it's
Oh,
crazy
it's
to think
all,
about
dude.
it.
It's all blur. Like when people say time moves by so fast to like cherish every moment, like it really is a fact.
Yeah,
Like when you get older, you realize how fast time actually goes.
so
Like you don't
fast.
even understand till it happens.
Like in a couple months, I'm about to be 24. If you would have told me 5 years ago I was ever gonna be 24, I literally been like, dude, what are you talking about? You're faded. And then literally like in a snap, I'm about to be 24. Like it's just
Crazy, bro.
It's
Crazy.
crazy how fast all this is going. But I mean, we have so much to talk about, all the travels, all the travels, all the tournaments, so much different stuff to talk about. But what have you been doing this off season to just like get by? Because I know you missed the
Dude,
competition, but
yeah, no, honestly, like that's where I thrive when it comes to video games, like the competition aspect of it.
yeah,
So for me, like just having such a long season and just grinding every single day, putting in so many hours, I feel like this off season was a good point to just kind of unwind,
definitely,
like kind of like spend time with family, spend time with friends, just kind of get out, enjoy the weather,
yeah,
stuff that we can't do too often during the season.
definitely, yeah,
I mean, you know how it is. Like during the season, it can be stressful. Like it's a grind. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot on the line, and we put in a lot of time to that stuff. So, just having time to just unwind. I saw you a couple days ago, obviously
yep.
in LA. I just saw you. So I was in LA for a week and just enjoying the weather, hanging out with some friends, and it's been a good time. But I'm excited to get back into the grind, and obviously I have that itch. Like after I have the little
Oh, of
break, like
course,
I get the itch again. Like I just
yeah,
want to get right back into it. So.
yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the new season.
What was your favorite meal or food you had in LA when you were here and staying here?
Ooh, that's easy. Okay,
Easy,
so we
okay.
went, yeah. So there's two. First, I had Korean barbecue for the first time,
Okay, nice. Wait,
and
that's
I
where you like
forgot.
cook it and stuff by yourself?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I guess because of COVID and stuff, they were
Oh
being
yeah, yeah,
weird,
yeah. Probably
but
changed it.
they cooked it for us like right next to us, like they
Yeah.
were cooking in front of us, and it was delicious. Like it was insane. I was like, you can't top this. Like, this is my first time eating Korean barbecue, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is insane. Like this is actually really good. And then we went to some place called Tao. Have you ever heard of it?
Tao, yeah, yeah.
TAO. And apparently they have one in New York City, but
Yeah.
I didn't even know. But we went to Tao, and then that place was even better. And I was like, wow! Like when I was down there, I was eating good, bro. I was eating real good. I was just trying out different things. Like it's the off season, so we were just having some fun, going to
Yeah.
different places, like really just trying to find new foods, like new different things, different places to go check out. And they didn't disappoint for sure.
No, that's great to hear. You were living lavish. You got the sun. You were going to the beach. I was
Yeah, bro.
seeing
I,
like
I was in I was in Malibu. I was at a Zuma Beach
Zuma
actually.
Beach. Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
used to go all the time growing up as a kid. We take the beach bus for like $5 when I was in like middle school to go to Zuma Beach. Oh my God,
Oh,
that
what? That's dope.
yeah, it was happening like every summer. But nah, you
Bro,
were
and
you
I didn't realize either. Like when we went to Malibu, it
yeah.
literally looked like we were on like vacation. Like how it was literally
Oh
like a
yeah,
vacation
yeah,
spot. Like it literally looked like the beach was empty. There was only like a few people on the beach. It was super wide. Like it was just beautiful. Like just being there for a week, it was worth it for sure. It was
yeah.
definitely worth it.
Yes, Mama Zuma in the chat. That is a real beach, Zuma Beach, but it's ZUMA, Zuma
Yeah,
Beach.
ZUMA. That's how we used
Um,
to spell Zuma, my dog's
oh
name.
really?
That's how we spelled it. Yeah, ZUMA.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
So you were eating good, living good, getting some sun, chilling on the beach, bro. There's nothing like relaxing on the beach, man. I love it. It's so much fun. Like it's like
Yeah.
the best place to just reset, just relax.
Clear your head
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
honestly it's so much fun. So I'm glad to hear you had a good time in Southern California. Of course, I was glad I got to see you. We played a Jenga 1v1 versus each other.
We did. It was intense. it was
Yo,
really
Jenga
intense.
is so intense. It's like
Probably the
it's
most intense game of the night for
yeah.
sure. We were going at it.
Yeah, but dude, Jenga is so much fun. You get so nervous when you're playing too. Like, I would like
Mhm.
pull the piece out and I would like get it. I'd be like, oh, let's go, I did it. And then I'd put it back on top, and my hand would be like shaking. I was like, oh my god, such a nerve wracking game. But gotta
Right,
work
right,
on the
and we had
ice.
spectators too. We had everybody watching us and shit. I was getting
Yeah,
kind of nervous.
we
I
just
was
like
like, damn.
randomly got into a 1v1 too. Like it wasn't even supposed to be 1v1, but no one like everyone was playing, and then everyone stopped playing, and then we just started playing, and it was like
Yeah.
we already started. Like
Everyone was so intrigued by the 1v1 because they were playing like with multiple people
yeah,
before, but I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
the 1v1 is better. It gets more
It is.
intense.
It definitely is more tense, and you're just like moving faster, like it's just back and forth, back and forth. That was funny, and then it was also
Hella fun.
funny to see JCap versus accuracy Lamar, and then Cap lost his $20 to Lamar. Kenny bet $20 on Cap. Kenny and Enable bet $20 on Kenny bet on Cap. Enable bet on accuracy. Accuracy won, so Kenny and Cap are out $20. Like they had no ice right there.
Yeah, Kenny's face when when Cap lost was comedy. His face was so funny.
He was like, hell nah.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
was so
oh,
mad.
it's chalk. It's chalk. You owe me 20.
That was hella funny.
Moving on from the California Adventures, what is and who is your favorite team and athlete of all time?
Favorite team and athlete. All right, so if I had to choose, I mean, like
I think I
my
know. I
goat,
think I
like
know
yeah,
this.
like like people probably won't like know who this guy is. Obviously, soccer fans will, but I'm a big fan of Andrea Pirlo. Like when I was growing up, I used to watch him play
No.
all the time, and I played the same position as him, so I looked up to him, not only as a person but just as a player. And now he's coaching my favorite team, which is Juventus. I'm literally wearing the
Yup.
pullover right now,
It's fresh.
and it's just crazy how it all went full circle. Like he's now my favorite player is now coaching my favorite team, and I think that's pretty cool. And obviously they inspired me a lot growing up. And then another one is probably Derek Jeter. Like
There,
growing
yeah,
up
yeah, yep.
and like growing up, I was a big Yankee fan. Like my dad loved the Yankees, my brother loves
Yeah.
the Yankees, so I was just watching the games with them. And Jeter was definitely my favorite. Just like has his presence, like his presence on the baseball field and as a captain and all that other stuff that he brings to the team, not just talent wise, but everything
Yeah.
outside the game. He was just like a role model to me. So Jeter's definitely up there, and he was number two. I was number two, like when I was
Yeah.
playing in the academy and
Was
stuff.
that
Like
where
that
you
was my
got
number.
it?
So
The number?
I
Like,
I
was it
I think that
inspired from
is
that?
I'm pretty sure like when I was younger, I'm pretty sure I wanted number two because I was a big Derek Jeter
Yeah.
fan, and then it kind of stuck with it the whole time. So number two's been like my number.
That's
It's
dope.
been my number for years. Yeah,
I,
but probably Pirlo and Jeter. Those are my final
no,
answers.
those are some good people. I mean, Derek Jeter, like, it's hard not to like that guy. Even being a Dodgers fan my whole life and growing up, like, it's just hard. I don't know anyone who could hate Derek Jeter, really. Like, he's just a good
He's just a
person.
good
Like,
dude, man.
I feel like I've never heard of him doing anything bad. I mean, I don't know. He just seems like a really good person. It's hard not to like
He
Derek Jeter.
it's crazy how much he stayed out of drama when he was in the league.
Yeah.
Like you never heard a bad thing about Jeter, never.
Yeah.
Like both in the game and outside the game, he was always out of drama. So it was just somebody to look up to, somebody to try and take after. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan
Definitely.
of Jeter for sure.
Good role model right there. And then now
Sure.
switching into Call of Duty, how did you first get into COD? Like find out about it and just start playing for fun? And then also, how did you transition into starting to compete and try and go pro in Call of Duty when you were younger?
Yeah, so I know you probably know the story. You probably heard it so many
I know
times,
everything
but
about you.
yeah. Same deal, same. But yeah, when I was growing up, video games wasn't really a big thing in my life. Like I played it a little bit, with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously I just pubbed and pub stomped with some friends growing up, but I was always so invested into football or soccer
Yeah.
where gaming was kind of just like a hobby, something I did for fun. I was always really good at it. Like friends from school and stuff always used to, there was rumors going around the school, like this guy could play COD really good, like they were going around.
Yeah.
But I was just so heavily invested into soccer, and then obviously I wanted to play in college and maybe one day be pro in soccer. Obviously that's a stretch, but I was really good. I played for an academy team, so I was doing a lot of traveling with that, and a lot of time went into that as well. So it taught me a lot, like the
Yeah.
academy and all that stuff kind of taught me a lot for this professional video game stuff, especially like performing in front of a crowd and just having like a lot of pressure. Like it kind of didn't affect me too much just because I
Yeah.
was so used to it growing up. But I was gonna play in college and then I got hurt, as you know, like
Yeah.
I tore my ACL and I was out for like months, and it was devastating. Like for a lot of people, an ACL injury is pretty serious. You know, like
Yeah.
people say that you never come
Yeah,
back the
it's
same, and it
done.
never
Like,
feels the same. And that was one thing I noticed is even after my surgery, I didn't feel the same. Like I could definitely feel a difference in my knee, and it just never felt natural to me anymore. So it was tough to deal with that because obviously I worked from like 5 years old. I've been
yeah,
playing soccer, trying to make it
making your
and do
way up.
something big. And I did. I made my way really up, and I put a lot of time into it. So I was depressed. Like I was really sad. Like I felt like my dreams were like crushed. So it kind of sucked, but it led me into this. When I was hurt, a couple of my friends from high school were like, "Yo, like, there's like professional video games. Like, you can actually make a career out of this. Like, you're really good. You should give it a try."
Yeah,
And obviously, I played S&D tournaments online as a hobby, and I used to win them a lot, so
yeah.
people knew who I was.
Back in like the Black Ops 2
And
days and stuff.
yeah, the Black Ops 2 days, I used to play with like TJ, Pharaoh,
Yeah, I remember that.
Jersey, like all those guys. And it kind of being an S&D star kind of helped me get into the scene. I was grinding a lot. A lot of people knew who I was just because I used to play pros every night, like Nameless and Sloss and all them, and
Yeah, they'd be
they used
roasting.
to
They'd be
hate
like,
me. Yeah, they used to
yeah,
roast me. This guy's a warrior. This
so
guy
funny.
sucks. They used to call me Pipsqueak. They're like, "Fuck this Pipsqueak guy." Blah
Oh
blah. Like
shit.
Miracles used to roast me, and all those
Yeah,
people. And obviously, I won so many tournaments online in S&D that I grew. What was it? Pro points? Is
yeah.
that what
Pro
they were
points,
called?
pro points. Yep.
So I had so many pro points that I was able to make a team based off S&D stars, and an event came to us in UMG Philadelphia, which was the first event that was actually close enough to the East Coast that I could drive to, because they
Yeah,
don't they don't have events like in Jersey or New York or anything. Like
never.
Philadelphia was like the closest it ever came. So I was like, holy shit, like this is my chance. I could drive. Like obviously I didn't have money to buy a flight or anything like that.
Yeah.
So being able to drive was awesome. So I just built a team with some guys and we drove. There was a blizzard in the fucking
Yep.
there was
I
a
remember
blizzard
that
going
event.
on. There was literally like 3 feet of snow on the ground. It took me so long to get there. I was sliding all over the place. I had to go pick up my teammates. Like I had to go pick up
Yeah,
Hamza and
that
Will
must have been
outside.
stressful.
Yeah, it was super stressful. And then we didn't have enough money to get a hotel room. Like we literally didn't have any money, so
Damn.
I was sleeping on the floor one night in a hotel room. It was somebody else's room,
Yeah.
and then we ended up going to TJ Haley's house because TJ lives by the venue. He was
Yeah.
like 50 to 60 minutes away from the venue, so we would sleep. I slept on the floor at TJ's house. I
At
slept on
TJ
his
Haley's house.
Yeah, bro. I slept on TJ's floor. We all slept in his basement on the floor, and then we woke up at like 5 a.m. the next morning because we had a match at like 7 or 8, and it was an hour away. And then
Yeah,
obviously you want to warm up and
of
stuff, so
course.
we had to wake up super early, and that's kind of where I made my name. Like I performed there, and then obviously Chris replays
Yeah.
Crowder James, so many names. He saw
He
me
goes by
play.
so many different aliases
Yeah,
nowadays,
bro.
or throughout the
Yeah, dude.
years.
So like he obviously saw something in me, and while everybody else was calling me a warrior and calling me shit, he was like, "Nah, this kid's good." So he picked me up, and I won my first event as a pro team at least. Like
Yeah,
obviously I went to UMG Philly and Anaheim because of the pro points and stuff. But
yeah,
the minute I got picked up on a pro team, I won my first event, and my name just kind of went from there. So that's kind of how I got into all of this, and I'm blessed that one dream killer led me to something bigger and better. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
definitely.
God's plan, man.
Dude, it's crazy. There's nothing worse than getting injured in a sport and being out for like a season or something, or just missing a few games, but then having such a serious injury to where you're never going to be the same in that sport. Is just that's literally
Hmm.
heartbreaking because like that's all you've been doing for your whole life growing up.
Yeah, and it was the
Like,
timing too. Like it was at the end of my high school career when, the scouts are looking at
yeah,
you, like the colleges are looking at you. Like this is like the big moment. Like this is when the most pressure's on you. So the fact that I practiced and grinded my whole life for that moment, and it was going good, like
yeah,
teams were interested. I was definitely thinking about playing, and just to have that all disappear so
yeah, just
fast
gone.
was, yeah, it was a tough time for sure. Real
Yeah,
tough time.
but you made the best of it. Like it's really unfortunate
Yeah,
for
man,
some people. Like
it's
they can't
crazy.
do what you did. Like you were able to find something that you already enjoyed, you were already really good at, and then you just built off that, and you've
Mhm.
had an extremely successful career just doing that. And I mean, you still got more to go, but it
Yeah,
was
it's
really
been
good. You could like fall back, or not fall back. I mean, just go to gaming and then do that, and then
yeah.
get to the top level, get to the pro level, and that. So that's
Yeah, and the one
crazy.
thing about the gaming stuff too is I'm a competitive guy.
Oh,
So like
yeah,
that was kind of where my drive was with soccer. Is just that I was so competitive and I just loved competing that not having that competitiveness like in me anymore, like not
Yeah.
being able to do that was like driving me like insane. So having that gaming outlet to bring back that competitive drive and bring back tournaments and competitions for me, it was like it was awesome, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I fell into it, and I'm happy that I did because it's been awesome. The journey's been dope.
I think that's where a lot of, at least Call of Duty players that I know, most people played sports when they were younger and like all those organized competitions and in those leagues. And I think that's where majority of people got their competitive drive from. And that just transfers over to everything else, but now Call of Duty. So everyone just wants to win as bad as much as possible. So it's just crazy to see like how your upbringing from when you're so young to now, how it sticks with you, wanting to just be the
No, it
best
definitely does.
player and team
And
out
how
there.
much it's changed too, Dill. Like from when I first started, like when I went to my first event, we were in a hotel ballroom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now we're playing for 10 times the money
Oh,
in
insane.
venues. Like
Insane.
it's nuts. It's nuts.
How was it? I know you talked about it a little bit, but how was it teaming on that Ghost or that on that Denial team in Ghost? I believe your roster was Replays, Saints, and Study at the time. Like, how was it teaming with those guys? Because that was your first time like getting a chance. Like, you were an
Yeah,
amateur before. I mean, you were technically a pro, but you were an
yeah.
amateur before that. That was still like proving himself. And then once you got on that team and you won that first event, you made the statement.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the one thing that really helped me a lot was just Chris having so much faith in me. Like I think he just had so much confidence in me that even if I messed up or even if I made mistakes, he was always so positive and always kind of brought me up. I mean, obviously he yelled at me for mistakes and stuff like that. He was a tough teammate for sure, and I think that brought out the best of me.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have Nato, who is back then was
Nado.
he's a little fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So obviously I got close with Nato too, like on the team. Like I got close with Chris and Nato and NJ. Like we're all very close. That
Yeah.
was we all won our first event. So when we won that event, sure, I had just got into the scene, but Chris Study and Chris were in it for a while and they never won an event. So
Yeah.
even for them, to get their first win, I think they just grew a lot of respect for me as a player just
Yeah.
because I just listened to everything they said and just put my head down and try not. At first, I was a cocky prick when I when I joined. Like
Being honest here, being honest.
yeah, when I joined, I was so but like I would talk back. I was very stubborn, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I still can be at times. Like obviously, like I believe in myself. So if there's something that I have in my head that I know is really gonna work or I think is gonna work, I'll always speak my mind. I think it's important to speak your mind.
Of course.
But like back then, I was immature. I was just immature. So
Yeah, I think we all had our moments back when we were young, being cocky pricks or just being assholes to our teammates. I know I definitely had a couple moments with JCap. But
yeah, the 3 bar. That's just
yeah,
fucking retarded.
we move on from that. We grow up, we mature. It's okay. But closing that season out, you guys won that event. I think you got like second and did pretty well at other ones, but you never got another win with that team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well,
Well, you
I
kind of
mean,
got to win. You kind of
it's
got to win.
hypothetically, yeah. Like a lot of people don't realize, but in
Yeah.
Ghost, we were supposed to win another event. We got a bomb glitch, and
The
then
bomb glitch and ghost.
we restarted the round, and then we choked the map. Like we all we needed was one round to win, so we
Yeah.
would have won. And we were thinking like, all right, it's like 5-2, whatever. Like we'll win a round, and we choked it. And then they came back, and then they ended up winning the event. So we ended up losing that, but like it probably should have been back-to-back wins. But
Yeah.
it
It's
was
just
crazy that we were playing with a glitch like that. Like
Call
that's
of Duty,
nuts.
man. Like you never know what's gonna happen to these events. Bomb glitch one
Yeah.
day, then you have the blur glitch in Black Ops 2 people were doing. There's just
Yeah, it was nuts.
anything and
And
everything can
then
happen.
and then at the end of that season, we were interested in getting you. I remember that we wanted to pick you
Yeah.
up for study because obviously we were having problems within the team. So we got first, second, and we choked at playoffs. I think
Yeah.
we got fifth or something. And we were obviously really devastated with that, and we were really pissed off, and emotions were high. But we were really interested in getting you, and
Yeah,
I
I
guess that's kind
remember
of
that.
how we went into AW.
I remember that. That was the last event, right? Season 3 in
Yeah,
Ghost.
that was the last
That was the
one.
last event because I was on the
Yeah,
Rise at the time. We did like all right.
I think Envy won, right?
Yeah, I think
Envy won that.
Evie won that event. That was when they had a
Yeah,
pretty nice squad. And then going
yeah.
into Advanced Warfare is when I remember it. I remember it. I was at the In and Out after like a football game or something. Everyone goes in and out. I was at the In and Out. I got like a call or something or a text from one of you guys. I don't know if it was you or Chris. Can't remember the specifics, but like,
Uh-huh.
do you want to join our team? Do you want to join Denial? And it would have been alongside you, Chris, our replays, and then Saints. And I was like, hell yeah, like you guys were the best team at like that end part. Like you guys should have won that back-to-back events. You won that one event. I was just like, this is just too good of opportunity not to take. So I still remember calling Kareem on Rise, one of the owners, and just being like, like I think I'm gonna take the opportunity. And he's like, all right, like do your thing. And I just told him like thank you and stuff. But it was just one of those times where like getting to that top level pro team with super talented players, like everyone on that team was super talented. On your team was super talented, smart, and you guys have done it all. You've won before, and I was still on the come up. Like I didn't win before. I think my highest placing before that was 4th, and then we went to Advanced Warfare. We had a pretty good start. We were doing well in the online 2Ks. Then we went to the AW Columbus event where we ended up getting 5th. I remember that. That first event of the year.
We lost to FaZe, I think.
Yeah, we
right?
lost to FaZe. I think we went down 2-0. We 3-0'd them in open bracket, or no, in a pool play, and we played them in bracket play on Sunday. Went down 2-0, brought it back, and then lost game 5, round 11. And then they went on to win that event. They went on to win the event. So
Patty P with his fucking hand.
Yep.
Remember the stitches and stuff?
That's a legendary story. That winning with
dude.
stitches, that's actually crazy. That's way better than the Jordan flu game thing for sure. Patty P. Patty P is definitely the sports goat. But yeah, then I remember after that event we went to Orlando where we ended up getting 3rd. We played Stunner when it was like Toast, TJ Haley, Hugh. I think it was like Perplexed, right? And Hamza.
Yeah, I think it was
Was their team.
Yeah.
It was my birthday
Yeah.
on the championship Sunday of that event, and we lost twice to them. We lost twice on that day. It was a tough one, but we got 3rd. It was all right at that event. And then after that is when the whole mix-up happened with Denial. You guys ended up going to Envy, and there was just like a bunch of crazy stuff that happened, and just the roster mania. Because back in the day, like after an event, there would be a crazy roster mania after like every event amongst the teams. Like there was just so many changes happening because there wasn't like contracts and all the crazy stuff like there is now. Like if you were getting salary like $500 to $1,000, that was a lot of salary back in like the 2014 days. Like most people weren't even on salary yet. So
dude, I was getting like $500 a month on Denial, and I thought I was rich.
Yeah, literally.
Like I was like so excited. I was like, holy shit.
I would go on the websites to be like, I just got my $500 or $750 a month. Let me go shopping. I'm like a junior in high school. I'm just like, dude, I am filthy rich right now. I got $500. And then looking back on that, I was like, oh my God, that's literally no money at all.
It is.
Yeah,
nothing.
It's crazy. And then you have to think about all the taxes and stuff from the prize money and all the salary, whatever it may be.
Work not paying you. That was a big thing too.
Yeah, but then we stopped teaming for a little bit. You went to Envy. I did my thing on Denial. But then we came back together on FaZe after the X Games event, I remember. Can you break it down how that transition happened from you guys being on FaZe and doing well, getting 2nd, and then Clay and I joining you guys' FaZe team?
Yeah, so this story, but
of course,
this story,
I was part of it.
like, yeah, you were part of it. This story is like mind blowing because
it's a crazy story.
It like Austin has his side of the story, like I have my side of the story, and like I swear on everything I love, this is how it went down for me. But it was obviously me and Ian, Kyler, and Austin, right?
Yeah.
And we got 2nd. 2 events in a row, like we got 2nd. Me and Ian weren't trying to change at all. Like we were the two like people we knew that we weren't changing, whatever.
Yeah.
But then Clay had came to me and he's like, "Yo, like you got like Austin's trying to drop you guys. Like he's trying to pick up me and Dylan for you and Ian." And then me and Ian were like, "What?" And then Clay was like, "Yeah, but." Clay was like, I want to play with you. Like, they're trying to drop you, but I'm trying to play with you. And then I told Ian, and then Ian was like, what? And then we were like, all right, well, fuck those guys. And then Kyler was underage.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm pretty sure the age restriction was coming into play
G-finity,
soon. So, like, we were like, all right, well, Kyler's underage. Austin's trying to drop us. And Austin swears that this didn't happen. And I don't know who to believe here, but this is from my side of the story. And this is how it happened for me. Is that all 100%, 1,000,000% happened. Like, we thought we were getting dropped. I ended up talking to FaZe. Clay said he wanted to play with me, and then we ended up forming the team with me, you, Clay, and Ian.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know if Clay finessed or I don't know what Clay did, But Austin gets very pissed off whenever I tell this story because he's just like, dude, that's not what happened. Like, that's not true. Like, we didn't try and drop you, this and that. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is what I was being told. Like, this is the stuff that was happening to me. And then I remember at the time too, like, it wasn't just by word. Like, I was being shown like messages and stuff, like I was being shown proof of like things
Yeah,
that were being said. So I was like, all right, well, let's do it. And then we ended up forming, and it's kind of where the team started.
yeah,
That's kind of where it all started. And I didn't, bro, two second places in a row was like I was happy with that because we were competing with the best team in the game. So I didn't want to change. But just the way it kind of all went down, that's kind of how the team formed, bro.
yeah. That was a very interesting time because Clay and I, like, we had won the world championship. We went to a couple events. Like, we got second one more time, but then we just weren't doing as well. And then, like, we talked with our denial team with Cap and Chris, and we're just like, things are starting working out. Like, we're gonna try and see what we could do. Probably make a change. And then I think Clay went up to you and talked to you at the X Games event. You're like, nah, like, we're not changing. We're not gonna do
Yeah, I
any of
told
that.
them.
I'm pretty sure I remember
Yeah, I
that.
told them.
And then I guess Clay, I think. We got Austin in the chat. And then I don't know exactly what Clay did. All I know is Clay finessed, and then we ended up on FaZe where it became like Austin and Kyler versus you and Ian, and then it became this like whole thing. And I don't know what exactly Clay did to finesse. I guess he was talking to like both parties and then just figured it out. But then I just
I
remember
don't
being
know,
on a
dude.
call with Ricky Banks and Tommy Temper, and then Robbie from Denial. Robbie from Denial is like, you guys can't leave. We're going to take $25,000 away from your champs prize. And we're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you
Like, we
can't do
already
that.
knew this contract was already like messed up and all this
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah.
some really funny stuff was said by Ricky Banks on that call. Can't repeat it right now. Maybe at a later time. But yeah, then we ended up getting on FaZe. At the end of it, he's like, welcome to FaZe, boys. And then we got all the things
Yeah.
sorted out. But nah, it was, it was,
Ricky was thinking back on it, like having Ricky and Tommy, and they were so invested at that time.
yeah,
So
they were
like
at every
obviously,
event. Every
yeah,
event.
like when we first joined FaZe, like that was like the hot pinnacle of FaZe. Like that's when it was really popping. They were so invested
Yeah.
into
The New
competitive
York
con. They were showing up
house.
to events and stuff, and they like just having Ricky and Tommy as a boss is just so different to what it is now. Because
Yeah.
obviously they're young and they like
They
you
were
know
like
how they
our
are.
age
So
now,
yeah,
but
exactly.
we were
Like
like 18, 19, and they were like 23, 24.
yeah, so that was interesting, but obviously, like it was like that was probably some of the most fun I've ever had for sure.
Yeah.
Like that was like one of the highs of my career for sure was being on that team and joining FaZe and playing with you guys and just finding the success that we had.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And we found like instant success too, because like we joined your team and you guys were doing well. Like you guys were getting second, but you never beat that Optic team in like a full series. I know you beat them in one series, but they were able to take the second best of five. And like the
Yep.
Optic team was just, they were dominating at the time. And then the mixture of us, like, I don't know, we just matched up really well versus them. And we played at our first event. It was UMG Dallas. And we went, I think, 24-2 map count. I know,
Oh yeah,
I know we only lost two
we were
maps.
nuts at events. We were
Yeah,
nuts.
and we like 3-0'd Optic in finals, and like that's kind of just where it all started. Like we played so well that event. That's what kicked everything off. And then
hmm
I think after that event is when we went on. Do you remember that trip we went on to
Berlin.
Oslo and Berlin? Do you remember that?
Yep. Of course, I remember that trip. There's a lot of good stories to tell
A
about
lot
that
of
trip.
good, a lot of good stories. Like Ian throwing up on what is it called, the autobahn. He was almost puked on you.
Oh
Um,
my god, dude. Bro, I will never forget that story. So we were on the highway. Obviously, we were out at some club. Were we in Berlin when we went to
I
the
think
club or
we,
Norway? Where
no,
were
I think
we?
we first went to Norway.
Dude, we were in so many different
Yeah, we were.
spots.
Yeah,
We were taking like 1 hour flights to different spots. Like we
yeah.
were moving around. But I don't remember exactly where we are. You think it was
I think
Norway? I'm
Norway
not
was the
really too
first one. We were
sure.
like in Oslo. Yeah.
But we had a crazy night at a nightclub. Like we were obviously just having a good time. Like we were drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ian got really sick. And we were on the highway and we were in a minivan. And I was in the middle row. Ian was in the back row. And Ian is just like, first of all, he's losing full the whole drive. Like he's losing composure.
Yeah.
And Ian's like, yo, like, we gotta pull over. Like, I'm not feeling too good. So I tell the guy, like, yo, you gotta pull over, pull over. He pulls over. I open up the door to the side of the minivan, and Ian's like coming out behind me, like trying to get out as quick as possible. And projectile vomit runs over my shoulder, literally like a hose, dude. Like, woo, like over my shoulder, and I lost
Yeah.
composure. I was like, holy fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, that would have been really bad if that hit you. That would have been disgusting.
Yeah, that would have been nasty. And
Also,
then
yeah,
I
wait.
felt bad for him on the flight too, because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were on our way
I was
to
about to
another
bring up the
flight.
flight stuff. Yeah.
And then yeah, he was on the flight,
Wait,
and
I
it was
think
like
that
an
was
hour and a
after we
half 2 hour
landed,
flight.
because that's when we got to Germany. So I think to make the story even crazier, Ian was sitting next to me on the plane, Enable. He went to the bathroom, and the flight was
Never
only like
came back.
it was only an hour, and he was in the bathroom for 45 minutes. Like the whole flight, there was a line outside of the bathroom that no one else could use. I think it was only one bathroom. It wasn't a big plane. When you have those like 1 hour flights, it's a very small plane, only one bathroom. There was a line throughout the whole plane of people wanting to use the restroom, and Ian was in there for 45 minutes. So leading up to this, like he was already feeling terrible, and then that's when the whole freeway accident or the highway accident happened of him, not an accident, but him throwing up on the side of the road, and it was just absolutely nuts. And then that was our day 1 and day 2 in Oslo and Berlin.
Crazy.
Or no, in Oslo and Norway, and then we went to Berlin, where things got even crazier. I know from my experience there, I think throughout this like 3-day, 4-night trip, I slept for probably a combined 8 hours. I remember.
We didn't sleep.
Yeah,
None of us slept the whole trip.
it was bad. I literally remember almost just being a dead body walking through the airport. I'll get to that later on in the story, but
Wait, do you remember the picture of us on the steps? Our whole team.
Yes,
You, Clay, and Ian, and
Yes.
we all looked fucking dead.
literally, it looks like we all got hit by trucks, and it was just terrible. But I remember going into Berlin. We were going to we had like this insane, like was it a penthouse? It was like,
It was, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't even know how to
was-
explain it. It was like a super luxury apartment. It had like a record player, pool table, multiple TVs, multiple
dope.
rooms. It was like insane. We went to a cigar bar. I think it was my first time ever smoking a
Oh,
cigar.
yeah, that was cool.
I probably was smoking it really wrong because the next day I literally couldn't speak, and my throat hurt like terribly.
You're not supposed to inhale cigars.
Yeah, it was
You're supposed to
bad.
just puff on them.
Really bad. And then I didn't know that at the time. And then we were going to clubs and just like everything, drinking, staying up all night. And I'll never forget the breakfast with Clay and Ricky on the top floor. Like we had stayed up all night after just getting back. Wait, do you remember? Were you there when Clay and Ricky were wrestling in the living room?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I feel like Ricky was always wrestling or doing something
Ricky was
with
always.
somebody.
Bro, I just remember Clay and Ricky were wrestling. I think Clay stuck like a hard-boiled egg into Ricky's mouth because they were like wrestlers in high school, and it was just like the most wild shit was happening throughout that whole trip. Like I can't even explain it. And then we went to the breakfast. They're on the rooftop, and this is like everyone's up there either like in suits with their laptops working, or there's like girls in their bikinis like sun tanning right on the pool because it was a really nice pool, really nice restaurant up there. And Ricky was just being so loud, so crazy and disrespectful because we're probably still drunk at this point. And it was crazy.
Yeah, probably.
And they wanted to kick us
drunk.
out. They wanted to kick us out. The only reason the restaurant couldn't is because we had like this key to whatever room where it costed an insane amount of money a night to rent that out. So they literally could not kick us out of the breakfast. So we would have been kicked out for sure. There was bees attacking Ricky at one point in the breakfast.
The bees. I was there. I remember the bees. Because them shits are pissing me off, bro. I don't like bees.
Dude, it was the most insane trip. And then I just remember walking in the airport, literally feeling terrible. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't hear. I couldn't talk. Like I couldn't do anything. It was the most like the worst travel day. And then we had to fly. Oh, dude.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
No, I was gonna say then we just had to fly back from Europe to New York, and then I had to wait a night in New York, and then go back to California after being like one of the sickest I've ever been. It was tragic, but it was such a good time.
I was gonna say like when we were there, we were hanging out with some pretty big people. Like we were hanging out with that guy, right, who owns the soccer team. I forgot what his name is. But he owned one of the professional teams over in Norway.
Warsaw?
Like he was
like something like that. He's some billionaire.
Yeah, it was some billionaire guy, and just the way like when we were going out at night to like these clubs and stuff, like we were young, like we were young kids.
18, 19, 20.
It was legal there. I mean, it was like the drinking age is legal over there, but we weren't playing around. Like we were getting VIP tables, we were getting like unlimited bottles
Dom
of like Dom
Perignon,
Perignon
sparklers
and shit
everywhere.
like that. Yeah. Like we were living, and we just came off an event win too, so we were just like
Yeah.
celebrating, like we were going crazy. So that was a fun trip for sure. A lot
Yeah.
of memories. I still have all those pictures
All
from us on the
yep.
boat. Remember when we were on the boat?
Yeah, the boat.
That was really cool.
that was so much fun. I wish we could do that. But I'm pretty sure we went on that trip because like FaZe were meeting up with some investor people, and that's pretty much why we went on that trip. We didn't go on there. They'll go on the trip to like celebrate a win. Like we just went there because they were the investors and they wanted to
Yeah.
potentially invest. And then we went with Ricky and Tommy over there and just had a really good time. But yeah, I will never forget that trip for the rest of my life. But then going back to the season in AW, after like that trip, what was your favorite event and favorite time in AW?
Okay, this one's easy. That Gfinity event for sure was crazy to me because obviously you know the story, but my I haven't that event. I hadn't seen my dad in like 5 years,
Yeah,
like 5 or 6 years, which is dude, that's a long time. So like I remember when I got off the flight, you guys saw me like fucking hugging my dad and shit.
yeah.
You guys were like, who the fuck is that guy, dude? But like that was pretty crazy. And then just to come back and win two best of sevens in front of my dad and all the FaZe guys were there, like Tommy, Ricky,
Blaziken was there, I
Apex,
remember.
Blaziken, like all
Yeah,
those guys were there. And just to win in front of my father, and all those guys, and the way that we did it too, like the
yeah,
way that we came back,
yeah.
it
That
was
was
like it was looking slow for us,
yeah. It
and
was
the fact that we
a
came back was
crazy
nuts.
event because I
Yeah, that
remember
was.
you said best of seven, but that was the other events where we were doing two best of seven. This event, Gfinity, was actually a one and done. So it was just if you lose,
Oh yeah,
you're
you're
out.
right, you're
So
right,
it was
you're
a
right. Yeah,
best of
you're right.
seven, but I think it was a best of seven, and it was just one match. That's it. I think we went down 3-1,
3-1.
three
Yeah, we
one,
were down.
and then we
We were
won
definitely down.
three. We somehow rallied, won three maps straight, and then won that event. And I think that's when we realized we're like, there's no way we don't have like we don't have this optic team's number now because like we destroyed them the first time we played them. We made an insane comeback the second time we played them, and like we just had all the confidence in the world when we were matching up against them now because we beat them at our worst and we beat them at our best. So we just kind of had
Yeah.
super confidence for the rest of that year versus them. But then we would always struggle versus like the teams that would get like 8th or 12th. Like we'd always struggle
Yeah.
with like the shitty teams. I don't know why, probably because we
The
just weren't.
weirdest thing
Yeah,
ever.
we probably just weren't all there mentally, and I guess. But then when we would play the best team in the game, without a doubt, we just fry them. It was like
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
it
it
was
was just.
weird.
I don't know if it's because it was optic. It just helped us like step up to another
Yeah,
level, or what. But we would always talk about this, like even during that AW season, like, bro, we need to play how we do against optic for everybody, like
yeah,
this and that. But like, I don't know what it was with us, but we definitely performed way better when we were playing better teams. It made
yeah,
absolutely no sense.
yeah. It
I
was
still don't get it.
yeah, it
But
was really weird. But
that was a
I
crazy
think
year,
we
and that was a crazy event.
we went to 5 events as a team in AW. We won 3 of them. We didn't win DC and we didn't win Worlds. I
And
think we got
DC Ian was really sick too
yeah.
at DC. I remember.
That would have been for the three-peat too, because we won
Yeah.
UMG Dallas, we won Gfinity. DC would have been
Mm,
for the three-peat, but then Ian got really sick, and we ended up getting like 8th or something like that. And
I remember.
then we went to season 3 playoffs, which was an insane comeback in our loser semis round. We played Epsilon, and they were up 3-0
Oh
against us.
yeah.
It was a best of 7, and they were up 3-0. We
Yeah.
reverse swept them somehow. I don't know how we
I
won
remember
4 maps
that.
straight, but we did. And then we played Optic Gaming in the finals. We had to win 2 best of 7s, and then we won both series 4-1, 4-1. It was like still insane the fact that we even did that, because that's not easy to do at all.
Yeah, that was probably my biggest compliment for that team is that whenever we were down or whenever we lost maps or anything like that, we were like the definition of resilience. Like we literally never gave up. We always had confidence in each other. We never raged at each other. We never yelled at. We always brought each other up when we were down. So like just to have a team like that where we know that we can anything's possible,
Yeah.
whether we're down 0-3 or whether we go down 0-1, it was just we never let off the gas pedal. Every map we were going hard. And we were really good at S&D too. So if we ever lost like a map or two, we were always like, the search, like we could
Yeah.
take it. But
Yeah,
we were
we
we
could
were
bounce
just
back.
I liked the environment on that team. That's why it was one of my favorite teams for sure that I've
Yeah.
ever played for.
Yeah, definitely. And then ending the season now, we got like 5th at Worlds or something, not the placing that we wanted. But moving on to the next year, we
Remember
went into Black Ops 3. We're not going to talk about Black Ops 3 too much. We weren't too good at that
that.
game. Like, I just felt like we didn't learn the game together without well as a team. I think
Yeah.
we got good towards the end, and then we just happened to play the MV team, who was the best team at the time at the end. And they 3-0'd us at champs. And then we lost game 5 to Splice for like top 6. And they went on to make a run all the way to second place. So I think if
Yeah.
we did clutch up versus Splice, we definitely could have made a run and got at least like top 4, top 3.
For sure.
I just remember getting Evac SND and Stronghold SND. Those were like our 2 worst SND maps as a team, and it was tough. But
That year was tough because I felt like we weren't bad. Like in Black Ops 3, like I felt like we were a top team, but we just weren't. The placings weren't showing it. But like I felt like whenever we played online or whenever we practiced, like I always felt super confident with that team for sure. Like I always felt like we can go to an event and win. That's why it was so hard to change because it's just we all knew that we could win,
yeah,
and the fact that we weren't getting wins, it was tough. But that was a tough year for sure. But I'm happy that we didn't just lose a couple events and just try and chalk somebody off the team or
yeah,
try and make changes. Like I'm happy that we tried to like stay loyal and try and fix things, and try and work through that.
yeah.
So I'm happy about that.
I think we really just didn't really learn the game that well together. We probably
Yeah, I
were
agree.
had our egos were probably high at the time, just off winning like 3 of the last 5 events we went to, and then doing all right in Black Ops 3. Like we just didn't learn the game that well together because we had the talent, we had all
Yeah,
the talent in the world. It
yeah,
just took being smarter, and we weren't smarter. If we were, we probably would have been able to win multiple events in that game. But
yeah,
just for our standards and the community standards for our team at the time, we just didn't live up to it. But then that year came to an end, and we still stuck it out even through
yeah,
a bad year because we just knew how talented we were. Then moving on
yeah,
to Infinite Warfare, this is when we got a team house and all that stuff. We won
yeah.
that. What was it? The 8 or no.
PSX.
PSX, yep, the PSX Open event. Won that event initially, and like we started off really hot in Infinite Warfare. But before we get into like really like the competitions, how was it living in the Texas house for you, the Texas FaZe house with our FaZe Pro team?
Dude, it was dope. I mean, we were just on a good schedule, just being it was the first time I was kind of living away from home and
Same.
kind of being with like my friends and stuff. So it was definitely an experience living somewhere else other than Jersey and being with all my friends and competing with people that I really enjoy competing with. It was a lot of fun and just spending time together every single day was definitely an experience I'll never want to take away. So that was awesome. A lot of memories there.
Yeah,
Obviously, for me, that was one of the most stressful years of my
yeah, I
career for
remember.
sure, because of just my hand, like my wrist, and it always
Yeah,
bothers me
what
too
happened?
because
What happened to your wrist? Because I know it, but like the viewers that
yeah,
don't know you
yeah.
as well in your backstory might not. So explain
hmm
that. Explain
So
that for
it
everyone.
it always bothers me when people talk about IW and talk about my year because I literally was the biggest handicap that year. Like the first year in the beginning of IW, like I was insane at that game.
Yeah,
Like in
I
the
mean we were
beginning, like
good.
PSX and stuff, we were
Yeah,
really
we were
good.
really
Like we
good.
were all really good.
We could play second and third throughout the whole first half of the year
Yeah,
until like
we were we were, we were super good. And
year.
then after PSX, the event that we won, it was a little event. But after that, I started noticing like weakness in my thumb. Like right after that event happened, I went back home and started playing online, and I was
Yeah,
like, huh, like my thumb felt pretty weak, and I was still able to play. Like I clawed too, so I was
yeah,
clawing and I was still able to play, but I knew something was up. And then a couple days go by, we're practicing online, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Like it was getting so bad to the point where I couldn't even move my thumb. And keep in mind, this is right after PSX. Like this is like the whole year is still in front of us.
yeah.
Like
The
we
whole
haven't even
season.
been to a main event yet. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with my hand? Like, do
Yeah,
I
it's scary.
what happened? So I'm like going to all these doctors in Texas. Obviously, I'm like scared to tell you guys because like I can't move my fucking thumb. So
Yeah.
I was like, I
Like
was
why
scared to
would
tell
we? Yeah,
people.
like what the heck? Like you're probably thinking like these guys aren't even gonna want us want me on the team anymore. Like I can't
Yeah,
move my
exactly.
thumb. Like
Exactly. And so I saw a couple doctors in Texas. I don't even know if you guys know that I left the house a couple times to go see a doctor. It was
I
like
think we
early in the
figured out
morning.
eventually. I don't know. I know
No, I, t-
somehow we
I,
knew.
have- I eventually told you
Yeah,
guys. I eventually told you guys because I just wanted to figure out what the fuck was wrong first before I told you guys
yeah.
because I didn't want you guys to panic. But I went to go see a couple of doctors and they did tests and they're like, dude, you're completely fine. Like there's nothing wrong with your
I
hand. And I'm
remember
like,
you saying that.
I'm telling you right now that there's something wrong with my hand. And these doctors are like, maybe you just have like some tendonitis or something. Like we'll give you some cortisone shots or this and that. Like they're giving me shots. like doing all these tests and stuff. They couldn't find a single thing. I went to 2 doctors. Immediately, I was like, I know something's wrong. Like, I can't, bro. I couldn't move my thumb. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't even claw anymore. It got to the point where I had to stop clawing because I had to find a way to grip the controller more so I could like try and move my thumb. And which is also very hard. Like, if I clawed my whole life, so just to change the way you hold a controller, it's like telling you, Dylan, like go to the next event clawing. Like,
Yeah. So
it might be
switch.
hard for
Yeah.
you
Of
to make
course.
that switch. So I went back home. I saw a hand and arm specialist. Like I went to like a really good doctor. He obviously won awards and stuff. I knew that I need to find somebody who will actually hear me out and listen to me and really focus on what the fuck is wrong with me because I know that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And his name was Dr. Tan. So shout out to Dr. Tan. And he did some tests and stuff on my wrist, and he found a little tiny cyst. It was about 1 centimeter big. It was so tiny you can barely see it in the CAT scan, and it was sitting on my thumb tendon. So it was sitting on my right on my wrist, like sitting on the tendon that moves your thumb. And he's like, I'm pretty sure this is what's causing the discomfort. Like, I don't know how you got it. We were working out a lot at the
Yeah.
time, like
We
at
were
the
going to
gym
the
and
gym.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like we were pressing weights and stuff, and that's something I never really did in my whole life. Like I never worked out, so we started working out. So I have a feeling I had something to maybe do with just like playing all the time and then working out. I was just putting a lot of pressure on my wrist,
Yeah.
and somehow this little 1 centimeter cyst formed that no other doctor could see, but this guy somehow saw it, and I needed surgery. And then I got the surgery. I played this. Keep in mind, this is throughout the year. Like this whole process, I saw a doctor. Like a month went by, I saw another doctor. Like it was dragged out.
Yeah.
So I was playing with a fucked up hand. Like I couldn't move my thumb. Remember, I couldn't throw the uplink ball. I literally had
Yeah.
to pass the uplink ball to my teammates because I couldn't
I'd be like, yo,
move my
Tommy, right
thumb up.
here. Come on. Throw the
Literally,
ball.
like
I'll get it.
I couldn't grab the ball
Yeah.
because whenever you had to like flick up and throw it up over things and stuff, I couldn't do it. So that was really stressful, and I had to stop clawing. So that I had to get used to that. I started rocking a control freak to make the thumbstick as light as possible because it
Yeah.
was easier to move with a control freak. So just like playing a whole year like that, like I feel like personally, I feel like people don't give me enough credit. I feel like people don't talk about it ever. Like people never talk about that year and how like what I went through that year. But I mean,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do, dude? Like shit happens, like injuries happen. I'm just happy that Dr. Tan was able to open me up and get that shit removed. And dude, as soon as my hand
Yeah.
healed, because even after you remember after he removed it, I had a cast on my hand at CWL Anaheim, and I was on
We
Percocets. It
shouldn't
was
have
four
played that
days after
event.
my surgery.
We shouldn't have played that one. That was chalk.
Yeah.
That one
Four
don't count.
so 4 days after my surgery, I'm on main stage on fucking painkillers, like dizzy as fuck, playing regular. I still can't claw because my hand's in a cast. So the only thing I can move is like my pointer finger and my thumb. So
Yeah.
I was playing in a fucking cast, and Clay's tooth was all messed
Oh
up
yeah,
and
Clay
he
got like
was
a root canal, I
screaming.
think.
Yeah,
And then
Clay
he
got like
was
a
on
root
some
canal.
drugs. He was on like usually you're supposed
Yeah,
to
dude.
have like, caffeine in you. You're like getting twisted or something. But no, our teams were on the opposite. They were on the painkillers, going to sleep on the main stage. So that was like the outlier event for us that year because we placed like second,
Mhm.
third pretty much throughout the whole first half of the year while we were teaming. And then we had that one event
Yeah.
where we got 16th and like teammates were off the perkies. It was chalk. Like we shouldn't have not played that event. We should have sat it out. But
Yeah,
our
and I
dumbasses
think
ended
like
up playing.
I think leading like all that stress and all the problems and up and downs we were going through as a team because we weren't winning. We came off that AW season as probably the best team in the game, like ending like one of the best
Yeah,
teams.
when we formed, we were definitely the best team.
Yeah, so like coming off that season, there was a lot of expectations, and we all really wanted to win. Even if we were placing like top three, top two, it wasn't good enough for us. Like we were always trying to win. Clay
Yeah.
was tossing silver medals and shit.
Yeah.
So like
God, I
we
feel
didn't
bad
we
for that
didn't
kid.
care.
I feel bad for
Yeah,
I feel bad for that kid in Paris who got hit by Clay's silver medal. Like that had to have hurt really badly.
yeah, bro, poor guy, dude. But that is one thing is like we weren't a bad
I'm
even
just
when we
kidding. You didn't
weren't
hit anyone.
winning.
You didn't hit anyone.
When we weren't winning, like we were still at the top. Like we were always a good team. We were always at the top. We always competed with the best teams.
Yeah.
Like we were always a team to beat. Like people, obviously, we're a good team. So it was just a really stressful time. And then I guess that's kind of leading into how we changed.
Yeah. And then it came down to after the season 1 playoffs where we ended up getting third, which is probably our best chance to win because I think we beat Optic. Was it first round or was that season? Yeah, we beat Optic in the first round. We beat, I think, another team, and then we're playing Splice for top 3. And this is when snaking was a thing, like a huge thing in the game. And
Yeah.
Tommy, he couldn't snake because he had a cyst in his wrist, so he couldn't snake.
Yeah.
Ian legit doesn't have half a thumb, so Enable can't use half his thumb. He can't snake either. Clay had a control freak, so he couldn't snake. So I was like, all right, guys, fuck it. I'm going to be snaking. I'm just trying to snake as hard as possible, everything. But yeah, it was tough. And after that event, I just remember we had that talk about potentially changing. We're like, we don't know who's going to go. We're going to figure it all out. And then it ended up coming down between me and Clay, and it got all of this huge mix-up with the United roster. And then I was actually talking with Alec about it on the podcast, and it probably would have been way better for both our teams and both our careers if we did make that change, because that made United have 2 main ARs on their team for the next couple seasons. And then on our team, at the end, we didn't have a main AR. I think Ian was trying to be like our main AR. But we actually probably would have done really well with our new team in IW if we won our first match. We lost that first match versus Envy, and that's when they just went on a run and got second in that event, second at Champs. And we just went into our first event, and we lost. And then from there, with Pierce and stuff gunless on our team, it just kind of was weird from that point on amongst the team. We just had a bad start. We had a bad start.
We had Big P. That team was interesting. We definitely had some issues for sure. With like people arguing with each other, just not getting along, stuff like that. But that again, like even closing out that year, like I was still in a cast. I was still playing, regular. I wasn't clawing. So just that whole year to me was just an anomaly. Like I completely just lost composure that year. And even considering the circumstances, I don't think I played that bad. Like for the circumstances that I was under and things with my hand, like I was proud of myself for like pushing through it. Because then once the season was over, I was able to go to physical therapy, ice,
take your
rest.
time.
My hand can actually heal. Because that was the problem is I had to play every day. We were practicing every day. We had events and stuff. My hand couldn't heal from the surgery. So I was just always in pain the whole year, just in constant pain. So just to get through that year was just fucking holy shit. It was like the most stressful time ever. And then my hand, after the physical therapy and the healing process, it went right back to normal. And then in World War II, I started clawing again, and I started feeling like myself again, and started getting back into it.
Yeah, I think especially too, if you were at your full potential without that cyst in your wrist too, I think we at least take one event that year for sure.
Yeah, I think
after having
a lot.
Multiple top 3, top 2 finishes in that year, like I think when you're at your full potential, like we at least take one event that year.
The best way I could say it is I felt like I could play well, but I felt like I wasn't as impactful as I could be.
Yeah, you were like capped.
Yeah, like I felt like I was like
nerfed. Like you were, you get up to a certain level, but you can't surpass that. There was
only so much I.
But you knew you can go higher if you were like normal. You were normal.
Because I know my potential when my hand's not fucked.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like it was just a stressful time.
And then
we pushed through.
We got through that, and then another big change came. We had a roster change on the FaZe World War II team. We picked up Chris James, replaced Crowder, whatever you want to call him now, which he was our coach at the time on BO3 for a little bit, and then Infinite Warfare. And then we picked up a retired player. This has never been done before. A retired player has never came back and been picked up by like a pro team like that. And then we also, not only did that, we picked up this young player named Priestahh, who when we picked him up, there was a copy pasta going around. What was it called? Who the fuck is Priestahh and why is he on FaZe? That was the copy pasta going around. Now I think we know Priestahh a little bit better. He's definitely proven himself, won multiple events and multiple titles. Sure. Really good player. But back in those days, we picked up a retired player that was a coach and then an upcoming player when people back then really didn't pick up that many upcoming players. Like, it was very rare that someone would get a chance. You'd have to work really hard. And we had a slow start in the online tourneys. I remember that. Dude,
very slow.
The 2Ks, we literally picked up, we placed T32 in 4 2Ks. Mm-hmm. I remember flying to Texas on Google Fiber for a 2K. We still got top 32 in the 2Ks, so we had no pro points going in to the first event.
The first event was Dallas. Everything. We were in open bracket.
Yep, we started in open bracket. And then from there, that's when the whole fiasco happened with the bomb threats. The whole first day of the event got canceled, and then we had to play all the matches of the open bracket and all of our pool play matches on Saturday. I think we played a total of 9 full matches. I can only imagine how many maps we played. We played 9 full matches from the start of open bracket to all our pool play matches, because we had to play like 3, I think, pool play matches or 4 pool play matches after our 5 or 6 open bracket ones. So we ended up placing 4th at that event and getting a ton of pro points, which we needed. But it felt so good to just be able to go to LAN, make that run, and everyone thought we were going to get smoked. Everyone thought we were going to get smoked after such bad online performances. But we went to LAN and just got top 4. I think that's been the craziest open bracket run in the CWL.
I'm pretty sure we broke history with that run. Like no one's ever done that before. Come out of open bracket and go all the way to top 4. Like just the amount of matches that we played and just the mental fortitude. Like we were waking up playing in the morning all the way till like literally super late midnight. At night. Midnight. Like we were still, the venue was empty. Like the venue was empty and it was just us and another team playing and the parents were just surrounding us watching us. Like it was literally like completely empty. They closed everything down. And just like thinking about that event and just like, you got to think like if we didn't do well, like we were basically fucking chalked.
Oh yeah, we had no pro points. Like it would have been bad. Like who knows what happens from that point? Because you needed pro points to get into the pro league. Like, you weren't in the pro league yet. You got pro points from these online tournaments, and then a lot more pro points from these LANs to secure your spot in the pro league. Luckily, after that, we started placing like better in the 2Ks, I believe, because like I don't know, I guess we just had like easier rows or something online.
We just got better too, though.
Yeah,
like we were just getting way better. Like we were. That's one thing I liked about that team is when we weren't good, we always found a way to get good.
Yeah.
Which is why the Black Ops 4 season was devastating, but that's a whole. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that at some point, but we still have to talk about our leading up the first season until the World War II playoff event. That was probably the craziest losers bracket run of all time. People honestly forget, and even I think we all forget, all the players on the team, just how insane that losers bracket run was, because it's masked by the finals that happened. But dude, I remember we lost to TK that event first round and got sent to the losers bracket. We were already like kind of shaky with our placings a little bit. Like we would place top 4 and then top 8, so we were really inconsistent. And then if we did bad at that event, we were gonna make a change, like without a doubt. And for sure. I think you had a pretty good speech to us before we started playing on Saturday.
Try to drop us some inspiration, dude. You know?
Yeah, you brought us up. I brought to
everybody.
The lounge.
I said, we were at the warm up station. It's like everybody up to the lounge. Like, let's all go to the lounge. Like, I got shit that I gotta say. And then I just I was just ranting for like 5 minutes. Like, we could do this shit. Like, I don't give a fuck what happens out there. Like, I fucking love you guys. Let's just go out and have some fucking fun. Blah blah. Like, just a big speech.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but I feel like after that speech and after we got on, like we started warming up, started practicing, scrimming, and then got on stage, I just feel like we were on another level, dude. It was. Like, I just feel like we were playing like with the we don't give a fuck mentality. Like literally. We didn't care. Like, bro, you ran through a fucking artillery strike. Like we were literally and we were all thinking the same thing before you did it too. Like the artillery comes down and like me and Priestahh were spraying like, yo, bro, you're already thinking it. You could tell. And we're like, yeah, run through it. And then you run through it and it works. Dude, we were just, we always did stuff like that. Like, just crazy stuff like that. And the fact that it worked was just crazy. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it was insane. Just because, like, there were so many.
You're a legend for that. You're a legend.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And then Chris also was 1v3 and he would yawn right after he 1v3.
Yeah, dude.
Like, that whole run, we played that event like we literally didn't give a fuck. We did not care. Really we wanted to lose. We played like we wanted to lose. Like we were just like running around doing stuff, and it worked. It was the most magical thing I've ever been a part of. I've ever seen, and that's why, in my opinion, hot take here, greatest run in Call of Duty history, or greatest losers bracket run in Call of Duty history. I'm gonna break it down for you real quick. All right, you ready for this, Tommy?
I'm ready, bro.
So, game 1, we bounced back. We play Envy. We had the number at the time. We would beat them at all the events. So we ended up beating them game 5 on a crazy clutch Priestahh temp 1v1 pressing kills and when Donnie crouches. We somehow get by that match. We go on. Who do we play after that? Did we play? Was it TK?
It might have been TK.
I think it was TK. We played TK, the back-to-back champions at the time. Or no, they lost the last event, the Ayama event in London, which didn't really count. But they were the back-to-back champions. 3-0 them. Sent them packing. Goodbye. And then, after that, we play Luminosity Gaming, the team who won the Ayama event in London, or in Birmingham. They were the champions. We were down 0-2 in the losers semifinals. We reverse sweep them, make it to the grand finals, where we're playing the one and only Optic Gaming. They were struggling on getting a win that season. They were like top 3 that whole year, but struggling on getting that win. Map 1 starts. We're down 240 to 170. Insane. 80-point comeback to win the map 1. Map 2, we're down 1-5. 1-5, SND. Replays clutches a 1v3, 1-5 round count. Makes it 2-5. We win a couple rounds. It's 5-5, round 11. I run through an artillery barrage and 1v3 that to go up 2-0. But that's not it. We get shit on in the CTF. And then we also get shit on in the hard point. We go game 5. We clutch up a game 5. I'm pretty sure you dropped like 13 or 14 kills
went off that map.
on Ardennes Forest map 5. So we thought we were going to have an easy series after clutching up. But no, we still went game 5 again. And then the next series starts. We win the first map hard point, London Docks hard point. Map 2, London Docks SND, our best map all year. We lost it. And then we lost the CTF map 3. Clutched up, won the map 4, and then clutched up and won the game 5. I think we played... No, I think I missed the series. I think we played someone else. Yeah, we played United. We beat United. We played 5 series. In 4 of those series, we went game 5. Or no, 6. Because we had to play 2 best of 5s. So we played 5 total matches in 6 series. So we went game 5.
Game 5
except for
time?
TK. Except for TK, because we 3-0'd him.
Except for TK? Okay. So except for TK, we literally went game 5 with every single team.
Literally,
and we clutched up every single time.
There will never be anything like that happens in Call of Duty again. That took random luck and good timing and skill through the power of God. He blessed us. Like, I don't know what happened. We just got absolutely blessed that day. That was the most lucky, skillful, random losers bracket run I've ever seen a team do. Winning 5 game 5s, clutching random 1v3s, yawning, running through artilleries, Tommy dropping 14 game 5, and then
we were all stepping up. That was another thing.
Everyone was doing their thing.
Everybody just had their moments where we were just clutching up, like individually, just like from just talent alone. Like we were just doing stuff on our own.
Crazy.
And it was just nuts, like how it all went down. It was crazy for sure. That event will always be probably one of the craziest events like we've ever been a part of, for sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about because I really didn't think about it until I was like, wait, we had a crazy run to even get to the finals because everyone just thinks about the finals because the finals was just so crazy in itself. And then we had a crazy run to even get there. I was like, Jesus Christ, this was like the most insane event ever. And we ended up winning it too. So that was even better. Then we had our moments in the World War II season. But how do you feel the rest of the season going from like season 2 into Anaheim then into champs?
I mean, I thought we were a really good team. I mean, after that event went too, like we were going online, we weren't losing any scrims. Like we were a really good team. We got to the point too where we started being we were really smart. Like we started playing the game really well. Like after we won that event, we really focused on, okay, well, we just won an event because we're talented. And obviously we're not that, like we obviously knew what we were doing a little bit, but obviously there was things that we need to improve, and there's always little things that you can change that help you be a more consistent team. But I definitely think it got to a point where we legit mastered that game. Like when it got to champs time, like we were ready. Like we were definitely ready to go. We thought that we were about to get this ring, and I still think we should have got that ring. I think we just let it slip away from us. Obviously, like we clutched up season 1, but we didn't clutch up at champs, and we still got top 3, which is a really good placing. But I still think to this day, and people might have different opinions, but I feel like we were the best team there. I think we were the best team at champs for sure.
Yeah, I think we just really practiced so hard and got our game so well rounded in respawn that we were comfortable on like every map in respawn with whatever it be, rotating, holding hills, breaking hills. Like we just knew what to do in every single situation. And SND, we had a really good SND strats as well. And then it came down to just us not executing on that day versus TK because we made the run all the way through. Wait, we also had an 0-5 comeback game 5 versus Envy to keep us in the tournament.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. It's always crazy to do an 0-5 comeback when your back's up against the wall in game 5. Every other team we played so well against except for Envy. Like I don't know why, but it was like battle of. I don't even know how to explain it. Like
matchups, I guess maybe they just matched up well against us. In World War II, there was a lot of that. Certain teams just matched up weird against other teams.
Yeah.
And it was at that point we were down 0-5. And I don't know who said what, but we were all like, we had that fucking mentality. Like, listen, man, like, we can do this. Like, we're down 0-5. We actually said this in the middle of the game. Like, we can do this. Like, one round at a time. Like, really focus up. Like, we can do this. Take it one round at a time. We won a round, won another round. Next thing you know, it's 3-5. We're like, yo, we can fucking do this. Like, we just kept riding off that confidence. We were doing crazy shit. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I was running up mid map. Like 5-5, I hit mid map. Like 5-5, I was like, yo, I think I'm gonna hit mid map. And Chris is like, fuck it, do it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, bet. Like, say no more. I fucking hit mid map. I pop a 2-piece. Like, I don't even know what the fuck happened in that series. It was a blur, bro. The only thing I remember is that last round 11.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
I remember that going into that round 11, I was like, what's it called? I was like, no matter what happens, I love you guys.
Yeah,
and
you
then,
said that. Yup.
And then
You
Chris,
did say that.
Chris crosses to A on defense. It was defense London Docks SND, and he gets hit markered. And I'm like, let's go, we got hit markered. And I think you get like a blood or something. And we somehow make that comeback. And then we go into that. I think we beat United right after that. And then we go to the TK series. And it just absolute tragic. I got gunned by Pharaoh one time because I moved spots. I thought he had a sniper. So I moved spots. In reality, he didn't have a sniper.
Probably lost aim assist.
And then I got gunned. I got gunned by him. That was the first time I ever got gunned.
I mean, that's the thing too. Is like sometimes you clutch up, sometimes you lose the clutch. Like,
sometimes it doesn't work out. I remember that.
Can't be mad about that.
And the thing is, the worst part about it is because he sniped so much. I didn't even realize till like 6 months later that he didn't even have a sniper that round. I was like, oh my God, I would have just stayed on the bomb. If I knew he didn't have a sniper, I would have easily won. And then, so I choked that round. The next round, Kenny gets an insane 1v2 versus Preston and Chris. And then we lost that map. And then we won the CTF. And then we lost the next 2 maps. And it was just like
heartbreaking.
Literally.
That was a heartbreak.
It was, oh my God, it was so bad.
That one was heartbreaking because one, obviously, like Dylan has a ring, but I was looking for my first ring. Obviously, Preston was looking for his first ring, and we were so prepared.
Yeah.
Like we were putting 3. Like most teams do 2 scrims a night. We were doing 3 scrims a day. We were watching film every single night. Like after we were done scrimming, we would always go back and just sit there and watch film for hours and just watch it and just critique every little thing. To the point where I just felt like we mastered the game. Like we really did. And it was going to come down to little things like clutches and just like the little stuff like winning your gunnies and clutching up. But the fact that we went out like that and just it was heartbreaking, especially with how close our game was with MB and then to beat United, which was another top team, and then to go on and play TK. It was just a crazy tournament. And I know we all really wanted that really bad. So that one hurt. That one really stung.
That one was so tragic. It was just like we were still playing decent, but things just weren't really going our way when we needed to. Like, we just need that one more play to close it out. And we had multiple chances to get it, and we just couldn't close it out. And it was just so tragic after, because we actually started in losers bracket round 1 of that event. We went up 2 overs MV winners round 1 and got reverse swept by them and completely choked it. And then we started losers round 1, made the run all the way to top 3, almost to the grand finals. And it was just so heartbreaking to end it like that. And then that's when the season ended, got 3rd at the last event, and we move on to the Black Ops 4 year, where it went to 5v5 actually, and then we picked up Methods. I remember that.
Which is not who we wanted. Zinni is not who we wanted at all. We wanted a sub player. Zinni knows it. Did not want that guy. Did not want him.
Yeah, I remember we were like trying to get a BZ, and FaZe didn't want to pay the 20K for a BZ, and he's pretty fucking good, and he's on FaZe now, so it would have been nice to have a BZ right there.
I wanted a sub player. That's who I wanted, an SMG player. I did not want, because we had Preston could run an AR really well. Chris was running an AR really well. You could even run it if you wanted to. So I was like, we need a talented sub player. Like that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
And who else? We were looking at somebody else. Who the fuck?
I forgot.
We were looking at Bruce a little bit. He wasn't a sub player, but Bruce was on the table. But he ended up going to Optic, and then obviously a BZ was like our number 1, and he was cheap.
And he was
like,
super cheap.
He wasn't expensive, so it was just trying to get FaZe to get a BZ. And obviously that didn't happen. It kind of fell through. FaZe didn't pull the plug on it, and we lost him. And then we were left stuck picking between AR players, and I mean it was tough for me. At that point, I was like, I don't care who we get, just get a talented AR. Which obviously Zinni's a talented AR player. I just didn't think it was the role that we needed. I didn't think it was the player that fit the squad the best in terms of roles.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Zinni's a beast. I mean, he knows all this. Like we talk about it all the time.
Oh yeah, of course we all talk about
I think
this.
I think he's a good player, but it just wasn't who I wanted personally.
Yeah, and then we had that whole thing, just don't play well. From that point on, it just kind of like just wasn't good. Like practice wasn't going well. Went to the events, they weren't going well either. It was just a tough time. and then we all kind of like broke apart after the PL or the Pro League qualifier. You got
Mm-hmm.
back onto FaZe. I went to EG. I was loaned to EG.
Yeah.
Chris and Preston went to 100T, where they found lots of success. And then after that season, we came back onto FaZe because we're still contracted, all contracted by FaZe. And that's when franchising happened and this whole new landscape of the Call of Duty community was born.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
And that's
crazy.
kind of, I feel like that was kind of where the FaZe era like really took a turn because sure they're called Atlanta FaZe now, but everything changed like behind the scenes. Like I don't think people realize, but like Atlanta runs that team, right? Like it's not FaZe. Like it
Yeah.
was a whole
No, yeah,
different
it's not.
group
Yeah.
of guys. It was a whole different business. Like I don't know if things would have been different if we would still be on FaZe if FaZe like made the decisions. I don't know how it would have went down, but yeah, that's kind of where the whole FaZe thing ended for us, and then we kind of went our own ways, and that's when we went to New York.
Yeah, pretty much like FaZe was like FaZe and that team was the face of the team, but there was like the people that are actually the investors in the spot were like they ran everything and make all the decisions and do all that stuff. But FaZe just the face of the team and the brand because biggest brand in esports, one of the biggest brands like out there. So it's that's why they're the face. But then we went to New York Subliners, and ended up getting one on the board. Got one win on the
We got
board.
one on the board. We got
One on
one.
the
We were a good
board.
team, dude. We were a good team. We
Yeah.
weren't bad. Definitely weren't bad. I definitely think we were a top team this year, and
Yeah, we were.
it was nice to get a win for sure.
Yeah,
Getting a W felt nice.
we definitely. I wish we could have became a little more consistent, like
Yeah,
as a
that was
team,
our
because
biggest
like
problem.
we
Our
we had
consistency.
this like we had the talent. Everyone knew it. All the top teams were like knew at times that we were the best hardpoint team. They would play. So like other people knew we had it. We knew we had it, but we just couldn't put it together across like a full series. We were average at Dom and then average at SND. Our hardpoint was always really good, but we just really if we had that one other game mode or just got really good at SND, we would have been able to probably win more.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I think the S&D hurt us the most
yeah,
for sure. I feel like our search was just so shaky.
yeah.
I think that's what hindered us the most.
Yeah. We just needed to be good at that. If we were just had a couple maps on search where we were just like our maps, like we would dominate them. Because I know we were really good at Ramaza early on and like throughout the year. But other than that, we didn't have a map that's like our go-to map and that we're really good at that we just always close out. If we did, we probably would have found a lot more success
Yeah,
and
I
had
agree.
more wins, more tournament wins, all that stuff, higher placings. But let's talk about living in the city. How was that for you to live in New York City?
I mean, dude, at first I was so excited for it. Like it was dope. Like we were going out, we were going to restaurants and stuff. Like we were enjoying just the city. Like, we
Yeah.
were exploring a lot. Like the city's actually like it's awesome. Like you were there with us. Like
Yeah.
New York City is one of the best cities in the world. So to be able to have the opportunity to live in the middle of Manhattan, which is, really big in the city, it was just awesome. We were in a really nice spot.
Yeah.
And then obviously the COVID stuff happened. And that kind of sucks just cuz the city kind of shut down.
Literally,
Like,
ghost town.
it literally became a ghost town. We were locked inside the apartments all day. You don't get a lot of sunlight in the city. Obviously there's tall buildings everywhere, so you don't it's a very different vibe in the city that, they call it the concrete jungle for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you're literally surrounded by walls. Like you don't
Yeah,
see
literally.
nature, you don't see trees, you don't see the sun, like you don't
None of
see
it.
this stuff. And it was cold. Like it was really fucking cold. Like it was in the middle of the winter, so like we were super cold. So it was mentally it took a toll on me. I don't
Yeah.
know about you, Dylan, but it definitely took a toll on me just being in that environment. It just kind of sucked, and it's nobody's fault other than COVID. Like you can't. It's nothing you can do about it. But just in terms of living in the city and experiencing that and playing for New York City, like representing such a big city was awesome. It is awesome. So
Yeah.
it was a good experience. And like you said, we got one on the board, and it was our home series. So I
Yeah.
just
That
thought
felt
that
good to
was that
win.
was really cool. Yeah, and picking up Mac helped a lot too.
Definitely. I think we
Because that
had,
was another thing.
yeah, we definitely had
Go
our
ahead.
own issues within the team. So much drama that literally just happened. It felt like it was so long ago, but it literally like just happened last
Yeah,
season. So
yeah.
it was just
There's a lot of
so
drama. A lot of
so
drama.
much different stuff, so many different headaches, which is really unfortunate. But excuse me. Living in New York though was incredible. It was a dream come true because I mean everyone sees like New York as a city, bright lights everywhere, so much going on. Everyone's moving a
Yeah.
thousand miles per hour, but it sucked that we lived there in the year when COVID hit, where we couldn't go actually experience the city because we were there in the winter grinding when the season just started. So we were ready to like experience it when it starts getting warmer. And of course, our experience got cut short. Definitely what you were talking about mentally, it took a toll on me as well. I think it took a toll on everyone
Yeah.
because it was super cold. We couldn't go outside. We didn't see the sun. Our bedrooms didn't have windows in them, so we didn't get any like natural light
No
or
light. Yeah.
anything ever. So you would have to go on like the super outskirts of the city to even get a chance to see the sun. But this was during the winter too, so the sun wasn't really out. It was always
Cold.
cold.
Yeah.
I think what helped me get through it the most was having the Nike people that we worked out with, like Ariel and Kelsey. I think they helped us like the most because I know
Yeah.
you didn't do the training on Zoom, but that helped me so much just to be able to like work out and exercise and sweat and like try and stay healthy in our
Stay
apartment.
active.
Yeah, that helped me a ton, but it was definitely a
For
tough
sure.
time to just not see the sun, not go outside, not do anything, just only be stuck in that apartment. It was definitely very tough.
So it
But
was a weird experience for sure.
yeah,
It was weird.
I think for everyone through this time of days now is going through a crazy weird experience just in different ways. But with the way
Yeah,
the world
for
was
sure.
this past year and even how it is now, it's crazy. So I'm glad we
Yeah.
got through it. And then we got to talk about how like the season ended to where
Mhm.
the offseason happened to where we eventually stopped teaming, where I went to the Minnesota Rocker. You're on New York.
Yeah.
You got a couple new players on your team. Like, how did that all break down with your side?
Yeah, so at the end of the year, obviously, throughout the year, we bucked heads a lot. There was a lot of drama. I mean, as you know, it
Yeah.
was it was a year of up and downs. There was a lot of downs. Obviously, we won an event, which is cool. And in terms of myself, from my point of view, like I obviously respect everybody from that team. I mean, when you win an event with a team, like at least for me, like that's a memory that I always have.
Yeah.
Teaming with those guys, and I think even though we had a very, I don't want to, I guess we could say toxic environment with our team, but like that's just kind of how we all were, and it got to a point where I was used to it and I enjoyed it. Like it was
Yeah.
just like I enjoyed everybody on that team. I enjoyed playing with everybody on that team. I think Mac really helped a lot, like bringing the
Yeah,
culture up.
definitely.
I think the roles we needed somebody to change the roles a little bit, and I didn't have any beef with anybody on the team at the end of the year. I just had a feeling that everybody kind of wanted to do their own thing. Like I was getting a weird vibe that people wanted to kind of go somewhere else or play with different people and stuff like that. I don't know if that's true or not. It was just kind of the vibe that I was like getting off of it at the end of the year. And then Clay hit me up. Clay was like, "Do you
Yeah.
want to play?" Blah blah. And obviously, I've had a lot of um,
Of course.
like obviously me
A
and
lot
Clay
of
have
success
a
with Clay.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had success together. I like Clay as a teammate. Like I know what Clay brings as a teammate. So I wanted to play with Clay, but at the same time, I was definitely still under the impression that we could stay together. But I definitely wanted to play with Clay. And that's when I talked to
Yeah.
Lamar. I was talking to, obviously, Clay and Lamar played the same role, so it
Yeah,
was
of
going to come
course.
down to between one of them. So I was like, okay, well, main AR, Lamar and Clay. And I talked to Lamar and stuff like that. And I always got the feeling that Lamar kind of wanted to go somewhere else, which he can obviously speak on for himself on this.
Yeah.
It might not be true, but just from my like stand on things, I've always felt like Lamar liked playing with me, but I wasn't like he wasn't excited to play with me. Where I feel like Clay was super excited. Like Clay was like, "Dude, I really want to play with you." Where Lamar was just kind of like, "Yeah, I mean, I'll play with you," but like I felt like he low key didn't. So I know he would play with me, but it got to a point where I was like, is he just saying that because he like it's a secure team, like it's already something that's on the table, like a security thing,
Yeah.
where like it was just kind of like an option for him. But if he had another option elsewhere, he would take it. Obviously, you guys have a great team over there, so I'm pretty sure he's happy where he's at. But to me, it was like Clay really wants to team with me. I'm getting weird vibes from people on the team. Like I feel like people don't want to stay together. It was a very tough, toxic year. There was just a lot going on, a lot of drama, a lot of ups and downs, like you said. So I think something fresh and new for everybody was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good to just you know take a different route. I think for everybody.
Yeah, I think we all got put through the gauntlet that last season. I feel like every day I would wake up to drama this, drama that, this happened, argument here, argument
Yeah.
here. Like I felt like
And
it was
sometimes
just so
sometimes it wasn't
overwhelming.
even between us. Like sometimes it was
Yeah.
stuff happening around
Yeah, it
us,
was like not even the
which
team. I feel like that hurt the team too. Like
yeah,
at
it
times because
did.
we'd have
It
to deal
definitely
with
did.
bullshit instead of
Mhm.
just focusing on
For for sure.
the team in Call of Duty. So I feel like
Yeah.
it was just got to a point where everyone got so fed up like mentally, and it just affected our gameplay, affected how we saw each other as teammates because like we were working together every day, going to the office and doing stuff, and
Yeah.
there was it was tough to be on that good schedule and do all these things, and just I feel like there was just so much going on, and there was always so many issues that at the end of the year, I know I can speak on this for myself. I don't know how New York wants to do it. I think they wanted us to like stay or go back to the East Coast and live. I think it might have changed or anything, but I definitely
Hmm.
wanted to. I love living in New York City, but I definitely wanted to like move to Texas. Like that was my goal to just be able to live in Texas and
Yeah.
play from here because if we're gonna keep playing online, I want the best opportunity to play online, and I just like
Hmm.
Texas as well. Has really good internet. It's
Yeah.
a lot cheaper. You can get a lot more. You get a lot more
For
bang
your
for your
buck.
buck. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's definitely
Definitely.
one of my big things. And honestly,
Hmm.
during that roster mania, I legit. Oh wait, let me. I legit didn't even talk to like anyone. I just remember you texted me eventually. I think it was aside from like after
Yeah.
champs when I text everyone like, "Yo, good try." It was good teaming with you, or like whatever. Just like, "Oh, good try." Like, keep your head up. Blah blah blah. I think you texted me and you're like, What do you want to do? And do
Hmm.
you want to play with Lamar?" I was like, "Yeah, I still want to play with Lamar." And then you're like, "All right, blah blah blah." We talked a little bit extra, and then I talked to Lamar, and then it just became like this whole thing between the roster in New York, and it wasn't like anything bad at all. Like I don't think there's any really
No,
bad
there's no
blood.
bad
Like it
blood. I
wasn't.
mean, for me at least, I didn't want bad blood, so I
Yeah,
wanted to be as open as
yeah. I
possible
think
with
that's what we all
everyone on the
wanted.
team. Anything that I was thinking, I didn't hold. Like I didn't
Yeah,
hold in. Like I talked to Lamar on the phone. We were on the phone for like almost 2 hours. Like
yeah,
I was talking to Lamar about stuff. I talked to Donnie. I talked to you. I talked to Mac a little bit. Mac was pretty quiet, but I talked to him a little bit. But
yeah,
I was very open with everybody on like my opinion on things, and people never really disagreed with me whenever I said certain things. Like nobody was like you're wrong, you know. Like it was kind of, I guess we could say everybody was on the same page. It's kind of hard to say just because I'm not in your guys' heads, and I don't know what you guys were thinking.
yeah,
But I knew that you still wanted to play with Lamar. Clay was knocking on the door. There was just a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces,
yeah.
and I think in the end we all worked out. Like I think you guys got a great roster for sure. I think you guys got a good set of players,
Thank you.
and I think you guys are gonna work out really well. And then I think we got an interesting group over here in New York, but I think we had the talent, and I think we both did well. I think it worked out for sure.
Yeah.
And I
No, I
dude,
think.
we still like you were still an op like for us, like me,
Yeah,
Mac, and Clay, like we were talking about you too. We know that you wanted to play with Lamar, so it's kind of off the table. But that was
yeah,
why I hit you up. Like that was why I texted you because if you were interested, obviously, like it could have been a possibility. But you know how things go. Like people want to play with certain people. People have
yeah,
chemistry with different people. Different teams work better for other people. People follow their comfort zone, you know? So like whatever people wanted to do, I didn't want to hold anything against them and just wanted them to be happy and make their own decisions. So at the end of the day, I have no bad blood with absolutely anybody from that team. If they had bad blood with me, then I don't know, but for me at least, I was very honest with myself and everybody, and that was
yeah,
one thing I always told myself is just don't lie and like don't try and be fake. Like if I'm thinking something or feeling something or if there's something I want to do, just be straight up with people because that's all I need is to, say one thing and then they hear something else and it's just like a whole clusterfuck, which just happened in the past.
yeah.
So I
It could
just
get bad during roster mania when you're hearing something from this guy, and then
exactly
like yeah, then it just turns into a shit
exactly.
show.
And for me, like just being in the scene so long, like I'm tired of that. Like I'm tired of that like fake bullshit at the end of years like at the
Yeah,
end of every year, at the end of every season, everybody's acting all sketchy and stuff. I was like, fuck this shit. Like I'll call everybody, tell them exactly how I feel, and just go from there and just
yeah,
see what options are on the table and what's going on. So that was one of the main things for me. I didn't want to fuck anybody over. And at the end of the day, like I said, I respect everybody on our past team. I'm happy for you guys on the team that you have because I think you guys have a great roster. And yeah, no bad blood with anybody. And I respect everybody. And like I said, we got a W on the board, bro. And that's a memory that I will never lose. You know, it'll always be there.
Yeah,
So
of course. Nah, you guys have a really solid roster too. And then even when it came down to your team, like, I think Clay is a really good player, really smart player. I would still team with Clay. I don't know if people like think I like hate Clay or something all of a sudden. That's why I didn't want to team with you guys. But no, I would still team with Clay. I think he's a really talented, smart player. Of course, Mac is super talented as well with yourself. So like it would have been a solid team. But just the way I felt like everything was going, it just kind of
shit
separated.
happens,
Yeah, it
dude.
separates.
Yeah,
Like
shit
shit
like shit
happens
happens.
with the
Like
moving
people,
and
it's
all
a
that stuff.
business
So
too. It's that's another thing
yeah,
about it. It's a business. There's contracts involved. There's money involved. There's a lot of stuff
yeah,
around it. You know, so there's more to it. But it was good.
yeah,
Overall, like I'm happy we got a dub on the board, and like I said, I respect everybody from the past year. Like I don't have any bad blood towards anyone. I just
yeah.
tried to be as authentic and real as possible. So
It's kind of crazy
that's kind of
too
my mindset.
that we don't have that much bad blood after last year. When I feel like there was just so much shit going on, but I'm glad we were
Yeah,
able to like hash it out with everyone on the roster when it came down to whatever issues we had between everyone. So it's always good when
yeah,
you can move on from a situation and it without it getting too toxic and being leaked to the
for
public
sure,
and all that stuff. So
for sure.
I'm glad everything got to a place where everyone's happy. You guys have a solid team.
And that's the thing
New
too,
York's
Dill.
happy as well. Like I'm just glad that it all worked out, and no
Yeah.
one wants to kill each other. That's
No,
what I'm happy
and that's the
about.
thing too, is that's why at the end of years, like roster mania for me, like communication is so important. Like if there's like a problem you have with somebody, or there's something that you're feeling or something that you're thinking, the best thing you could do is be open with that person and talk to that person. Where I hate this when roster mania period starts and I'm trying to hit up players and talking to different players and seeing what people are going on. I hate when people like don't answer.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's the
it's my
worst.
biggest pet peeve. And then there's people who don't answer, and then 2 weeks later they're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Bro, I hit you up 2 weeks ago. Like even if you don't want a team, just respond. Just text me back. I don't want a team.
Yeah,
Okay, bro, good luck to you, and good luck. There's no like that's it. But it pisses me off. Every year this happens. There's always people that I try hitting up or try talking to. If I know things are going down, I know like things are changing, people
yeah,
are trying to mix up and stuff like that. Whenever I try to talk to people, I feel like people aren't being real with me. Like people beat around the bush, they're always talking out of their ass, and it pisses me off. And I see right through it now. Like after all the years of just being in the
yeah. Being in
league,
those situations and those
and
talks,
yeah, and just
business
being in the
negotiation.
situation,
Yeah,
like I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe back in the day I used to be a sketchy fuck, but now I'm like I hate being that guy. Like I'm like I guess you could say I've changed in a way. Like in the roster mania, I just didn't want to be that person. I just wanted to be as realistic as possible with everyone. And when people aren't being real back, like it's annoying. Like it's
yeah.
very annoying. So
Nah,
it was
definitely.
stressful. Like roster mania is stressful for sure.
Yeah, but no, I'm glad we both ended up with good teams on good organizations. New York took great care of me, so big thank you to them for letting me live in the city, helping us out, and everything they did for me. They were awesome, even with my transition from the New York team to Minnesota. So it's been great, and then that's crazy. I guess it'll be the first game where we don't team together. So what is that? 6 games where we team together? AW, BO3, IW, World War II. Black Ops
Mhm.
4, and then MW. So that's
Yeah.
six games that we've teamed together. Like that's actually
Dude,
insane. Is that like a record? Like that has to be
it's
close to a
gotta be,
record.
right?
That has
I
to be
feel like
close.
who else is close to that? Maybe
Maybe
like
some of the
Scump and
Optic Dynasty.
Formal.
Yeah, Scum
Yeah, like the
Formal.
Optic guys. But after the Optic guys, like no one's done
Yeah.
that. I
Nah.
think it's just us.
And like
So
in a row too. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, so low key, like it's kind of sad, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just because I just know I'm so used to playing with you. Like this might sound like really soft and like really corny, but just
Yeah.
but
Nah, I
just
feel you. I feel you.
hearing Dylan's voice in game, like it's comfortable to me because I'm so used to it. Like
I
dead
got a
ass.
soothing
Like
voice. Yeah.
yeah, well, no, I'm just used
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it.
I know
Like,
what you're
you know what
saying.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like somebody's presence in a game, like in a map, the way they speak, the way they calm, like stuff like that. Like it's a chemistry thing. Like I grew up with Dylan in the scene. Like I played a lot with him. So for me, it was just like I'm used to it. Like,
Yeah.
and when you're used to something, you're comfortable and you're more confident. So just not having you on the team anymore, it feels weird. You know, like
Nah. Yeah. Definitely.
it's definitely gonna be weird. But like that's the whole point. When you form new rosters, you gotta you got to build that chemistry
Yeah.
and just kind of go from there.
Nah, it's gonna be crazy because I mean, just all we've been through from starting in the scene, kind of knowing each other when we were on the come up, and then becoming friends after then, teaming with you, winning multiple tournaments with you, traveling the world, doing all that stuff. It was great. And then like you said, in game is where it's like different. It's like you're so used to that person, you know exactly what their tendencies are, how they are as like just a person, how they
Right.
speak, you know what they're
Hmm.
feeling. You could tell by like their movements and how they're talking, like how they're feeling, and if they're, so it's definitely a
For
big
sure.
change to not be teaming after what, like 6 whole seasons. That is just,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me.
Especially when we found
But
success, like we
yeah.
won events, like we got top placings throughout the years. Even the games that we didn't win, we were still at the
Oh
top.
yeah, we were still competing.
We were
We were
still
still
competing.
competing.
We were still a hard team to play against. Like our whole career,
Yeah.
we were fighting to the death, dude. So it was a pleasure, dude. It was
It
an
was
absolute
it was a
pleasure, my bro.
pleasure. It was a pleasure teaming with you, doing all that stuff with you. I had a really great time doing all that. But then it's gonna come down to it. We're gonna meet each other on the battlefield,
Hmm.
on
Which
separate
happened
teams.
once. It happened in
Happened
Blackouts
once.
4. Happened
Yeah,
once,
it didn't count
which is
though, because
cool.
I mean that team was kind of crazy. Well, I'll save that topic for another discussion about why I joined EG with lesser name players and for less money. We'll talk about that some other time. But one more question: if there's
Yup.
anything that you regret in your gaming career, what is it? It could be not practicing hard enough for an event. It could be literally anything, whatever it may be. What's your like one thing that you wish you could have done better?
I think the one thing is going back all the way to the Envy days when
Envy?
I joined Envy. I think that was my biggest regret. I think, and again, that's when I was saying earlier in the stream where I was kind of immature and just not thinking straight, like my ego, like I just had like a bad ego. Where throughout the years, like I kind of toned that down. Like I toned the ego
Yeah.
down. I started respecting my teammates. Like I tried to be the best teammate I possibly can be, and I guess that was a decision that I think let get away from me. I think my head was in the wrong place, and I think that was a mistake. I think I should have stayed with you and Chris for sure. I think obviously I found success with Chris and Nato and Ghost, and I
Yeah.
instead of taking the Chris route, I went the Nato route. And we went to Envy, and that roster just didn't work. And then after 2 months, I ended up on FaZe. But if I could have cut that all out, but then again, look at where it led me to FaZe.
Yeah. Who knows? Who
So like
knows
I
what
don't.
happens if like you
Yeah,
just never
exactly.
know.
So it's hard to regret things because leading up to this point, it's brought me to where I am.
Yeah.
But like looking back at it, like after that happened, like when I was playing with Envy, I was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, why did I do this?
Yeah. No, I
So
think with mine probably has to be I wish we could go back and start the Black Ops 3 season over again and just do everything we can as in learning the game, playing together, working together better. Because I think we had a really good year that year. Like we actually could have been a really good dynasty if we just like
for
learned that
sure.
game together better as a team, and we would have got a win, a couple wins. I don't know what would have happened, but I really wish we could just go back in those days and relive that. Work harder than we did, and just give us another shot at that because we had such a good thing going that it kind of got messed up right there. We stayed on
Yeah,
track the next game, but I feel like if we just learned that and just got better and grew together, who knows what could have happened. But y'all live and
I
learn from
agree.
it. It's what you gotta do. But to
Yep.
close the stream out, let's see. I think let's ask some questions. Let's ask some questions from the chat. So guys, chat, ask your questions for the one and only Italian Stallion himself in the chat. We'll be picking the best ones out, and we don't want to take up too much of his time. But Tommy, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad we
No
could talk
problem,
about
man.
all of our history.
It's
It's
been a
been a
pleasure,
fun
man.
time.
Thanks for having me. This is dope, by the way. I like this little podcast gimmick you got going on here. So
Thank you. I need something to look forward to in the offseason, bro. I'm bored. I can't play Warzone all day. I'm losing my mind.
dude, I can't even play Warzone anymore either. Like
Yeah.
I can't even do it. So that's why we gotta keep those kill races going when the
I'm
next
no
beta
wait
drops for
during
sure.
when the beta drops, we're definitely playing more kill races. Those are
Yeah,
way
I'm
too much
down.
fun. I'm
I'm
so
definitely down.
down. But like I said, love you, brother. It's
Love you
been a
too, bro.
pleasure. No matter what anyone says, we pretty much grew up and played pretty much all of our careers together. So that's just history that I'll never forget. And I'm excited to keep on growing. I'm sure we're still gonna be really good friends. So I'm not too worried about it. We're not gonna just grow
We
apart or
were
anything
playing
like that.
yesterday. We were
We
playing
were
some
literally
kill
playing
races.
yesterday and
We're
then
six
hanging
and
out a
zero.
couple
We're
days
undefeated.
before. Yeah, 6-0. So if any of you guys want to challenge us in the chat, let us know. But let's see. Oh, that's a good one. How did Hydra get picked up? That's a real good one.
Okay, so Hydra was a player that we all brought up. Like Clay brought him up. I know Clay wants to take credit for Hydra. We'll give Clay the credit because
Give Clay the
because
credit.
he's been going rogue. But he was a player that I was interested in up too. He was a player that I heard a lot. And you know me, I'm another player. Like people talk about Clay and young talent, but I'm another one who really likes young talent. Like I like to branch out and pay attention to the amateur scene and see what the heck's going on over there. But obviously you hear things like I have my plugs from people in the amateur scene,
Yeah.
and I talked to people and I heard about Hydra and stuff like that. I hit up his agent and I didn't know much about him, so I hit up his agent if there's any VODs or gameplay that I can watch. He sent me like 4 hours of straight gameplay of the kid. So I went back, watched some of his challenger stuff, and then I went back and watched some gameplay, some scrims and stuff like that. And sometimes you just see something in someone, you know, like you see that little special, like a little special in them, you know. You just see something that other people don't have. Like you could tell when you're watching a player if they have that, I guess that talent. Like with
Yeah, you
Cell,
can't
it's the
even,
same thing I
yeah,
saw with
you just
Cell. Like
have
with
it. Like
Cell, I was
some
like,
people
he's
just have it.
different. Like yeah, like I like when I saw Cell, I was like, this kid's different. Like this is like I feel like passing up on somebody like this is just a huge mistake. So that's kind of how I felt with Hydra. Like obviously, there's a little bit more roadblocks to Hydra. Like English is not his first language, so it's
Yeah.
like how good is his English? You know, how well is he gonna mesh with our team? But he's a good kid. You know, I've talked to him, and his English has actually really impressed me. Just the fact that I was able to have a conversation with him was
Yeah.
like kind of shocking to me because he only started learning English this year. He
Yeah.
started taking English classes, so that to me alone just showed to me that he was dedicated. You know, that he was really trying. The fact that he's trying to learn another language just to be a professional COD player is just I admire that. So
Yeah.
just seeing his talent and talking to him, it was a vibe that I really liked him. So I was like, I'm definitely down for Hydra. Clay obviously thought highly of him. He was tweeting about him and stuff. And then you know, Mac was just like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it, run it.
Mac was like, yeah, I mean, I'm down, dude. So I was like, fuck it, dude. And obviously we have that's our team of four right now, me,
Yeah.
Matt, Clay, and Hydra, and you know we're still looking at other people and sub spots and other things like that. But we're excited to have Hydra on board. We're really excited.
No, that's good. I mean, like you could just tell by watching some people's gameplays, like you were saying, that they just have it. Like they just have that instinct of whether it's in that clutch, being able to get out of the crazy scenarios, or just giving themselves the best chance
Mhm.
to finesse and work. Like some people just have it, and I'm excited to see him play because especially when a person is coming from a different country too, and he has like a language barrier and like so many obstacles to make it all the way here, like that's awesome to hear. That's already like a crazy story. So just watching it
Mhm.
unfold and play out is going to be very, very cool to see. Another one from the chat. Tommy, how do you feel about two GOATs retiring from soccer in these next few years?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ronaldo just announced that his last World Cup is going to be the up and coming one. I think it's in
Damn.
2022 or is it 21? I don't know when I forget when the World Cup is. It's either 21 or 22, but he said it's gonna be his last one, and it's sad
Yeah,
because
of course.
obviously we grew up and we are so lucky and so blessed to be able to grow up and watch people like Messi and Ronaldo play. You know, they're like two of the greatest soccer football players to ever play the game. So just to grow up and see what they're able to do and able to accomplish and how consistent they've been over the years and even showing right now to this day that age is just a number because they're still performing. Like I'm a big Juventus fan, so Ronaldo's still doing his thing. You know, I admire it and it motivates me. So it's super sad to know that they're on their way out, but there's a lot of up and coming players and hopefully we get some new young guys up and coming and we see some new history being made.
I like that. I like that. And then maybe after your COD career, you'd be like a coach or something for one of those football clubs. That'd be
Yeah, bro.
lit.
Yeah, Juventus.
You and
If they're watching,
Pirlo, we'd be going crazy
yo,
out
that's a
there.
deadly duo, bro. Yo, me and Andrea Pirlo, man, that's the goat, bro. That's literally the goat. I love that guy. My cousin actually met him in New
Oh
York.
wait, I didn't. Wasn't it like in the airport or something?
No,
Or
no, he
no?
met him. He was
Maybe
on the
something else.
sidewalk in New York because he used to play when Pirlo retired. He went
Okay.
to the MLS and played for New York City.
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
saw
that's
him on the
dope.
sidewalk. Yeah, he just saw him on the sidewalk, and he took a picture with him, and it was his last Instagram post. And it's funny that we're talking about this because a couple days ago I was talking to my cousin, and he was like, "Yeah, I just don't post on Instagram anymore because my last picture was a few years ago, and it was Andrea Pirlo, and I
Like
just
how?
can't beat that.
Yeah. How do
Like
you top
I
it?
can't." Yeah, and he was like, "The only thing that'll top it is if I get a picture with Rich Campbell." That's what he said. He loves Rich Campbell, like he loves him. So I was like, I could make that happen.
Pierlo and Rich Campbell.
Yeah,
Rich
I
Campbell
don't,
might be
dude,
a little bit cooler though.
dude, he loves Rich Campbell, like loves him. Like he's a
Uh,
World of Warcraft guy. Like my cousin loves World of Warcraft, so
okay, that makes
he's a
sense.
big Rich Campbell fan.
Rich Campbell, Pierlo, the goats. All
Yeah,
right,
dude.
I
Yeah,
think that's
two
gonna
goats.
do it. I think it's gonna do it for the episode. Tommy,
Oh
thank you very
yeah,
much for coming on. I hope you had a good
problem,
time.
dude.
A lot of good talks. Probably, yeah, definitely our longest episode I've had so far. And then shout out to everyone that's watching the live stream. Shout out to everyone that's listening on YouTube, Spotify, whatever else it may be. Make sure you guys follow the Italian Stallion ZooMaa on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, all that good stuff. Are you gonna start uploading some YouTube videos soon, or what you thinking about that?
Maybe, bro. For me, it's like I hate being dedicated to YouTube because then people sub to me and stuff, and then the league starts, and I'm
Yeah,
just like I'm so focused on the league that I feel bad for people who subscribed and stuff. So it's hard for me. You do a good job of like staying consistent and doing your thing,
but you
but
gotta
for
get an
me,
editor, bro. You gotta get
yeah,
an
I know I
editor and all
do
that.
like getting an editor and stuff like that. I really want to focus on my stream. My stream was doing really well. I was grinding, and I took the little break to
Yeah,
clear my head, and I kind of lost all of it.
that's
But
how it goes with
um,
streaming. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll definitely be streaming a lot. I'm always a big streamer. I love to stream, so you'll definitely see me streaming. But YouTube, I don't know. But one day when I'm done competing, I would hope to pump as much content as I can, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you got the personality for it. We all know it. You've had some very infamous clips throughout your years competing and stuff.
Yeah,
But
man.
we all need to see you on YouTube one day, hopefully. But until then,
Sure.
twitch.tv/ZooMaa with 2 A's. Go follow that.
Sir.
Thank you guys all for watching. It's been a pleasure to host this show, episode 4. I don't know when. I don't know who the next guest is. Tweet me who you guys think, or let me know where. Message me wherever in the comment down below who I should have on as the next guest. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night. Love you all. Stay hydrated. Let's get it.
Peace.